So we've gone through and we've retuned some favorites, and we've made some quality of life changes for some of the characters, and we're not done yet. But these are the big ones that we're touching for this winter update.
Yeah, and as a disclaimer, Grant's going to walk you through the highlights. When you get the patch notes in the near future, the patch notes will show you everything.
Yep.
They're far more extensive than what you're going to see today.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, did I push the wrong button?
Yep.
Okay. So the first one is Montana. So Montana, we wanted to make sure that the gunplay felt solid across the board. We've had some complaints that Montana's skills and his size make him easy to play, easy to use, and easy to be shot at. So we wanted to return the favor and say, like, well, now you can shoot at enemies easier too. So the accuracy of his minigun, due to some augments and some skills, have now been increased. As the counterpoint to that, the natural damage reduction from the Icy Resolve has been decreased by 5%. However, the cooler and Gatling grease both got functionality changes. Basically, we wanted to make sure that the gunplay loop was solid from beginning to end. And what we did was, now we said, like, if you're at max heat, you now reduce the cooldown of your dash. So that way you can get into combat, unload your minigun, and then when you're at max heat, your dash refreshes faster and you can dash out. Or if you're shooting at someone they're low health and you need to get closer, you can dash in and still have high heat, fast cooldowns to be able to get out and escape.
Yeah, Montana's a big guy. He gets hit a lot from everywhere, and that dash is really critical to Montana to helping him get in and out of combat.
So the quality of life changes in Montana all have to revolve around his minigun, and to make sure that that minigun usage plays into his skills that helps refresh his dash cooldown. The next is Orendi. Orendi needed a quality of life pass, and we have 2 slides to talk about it. Mm-hmm. First, the Chaos Bolts, Orendi's primary attack has been increased. The travel speed has been increased, so now it feels a little easier to hit targets that are moving. This is a big requested change for those that wanted to finish targets off with the auto attack. The auto attack, those bolts that fly out of the 4 hands, have now all been increased. They're very similar to like an Alani's bolt, not the same range, but the speed at which they travel, it feels similar to Alani. The first AUG, Fire Walk With Me, it actually was a little bugged in the sense that it looked like it did 410 damage, but it actually wasn't really doing that much damage. This is more of a correction of the skill versus an actual damage reduction. Instant Gratification is the mutation that makes your pillar instant, but it reduced it by half damage. We've decreased the penalty, so you actually deal more damage instantly. However, we moved this further down the tree, and we matched it with a new AUG function called Nihilism. We wanted to make sure that the Nullify skill from Orendi was actually utilized more. The Nullify skill is the one that pushes Orendi back. So what we did was we made a new AUG to compare against Instant Gratification and said after you use your Nullify, your next pillar is Instant Cast at full damage. So now you have Instant Cast at reduced damage versus a Nullify pillar combo at instant cast at full damage. So this is one of the quality of life changes we're making to Orendi to make sure that the Nullify loop can be AUG'd into and still feels rewarding versus getting all pillar damage augments.
Right. And just to point out, people are freaking out about the skin. This is one of the medieval skins, in case you just joined us.
Yes.
It's from a new set.
Also, to increase the utility of Nullify, we replaced the I Hate Your Pretty Shields with Stay Right There, and that makes it so that after you use Nullify, your auto attacks will slow the target for 2 seconds. So this allows you to, if you grab the Nullify to push you forward, to allow you to get in quickly, slow a target so that you can land your pillar quicker. So now there's a lot of options and a lot of counterplay to how you want to build your character. It's not all just about pillar damage now. Now there's utility from Nullify that will help you with pillar damage. So it's straight up pillar damage versus utility, and we think this is a lot of counterplay, a lot of choice between the augments now for Orendi. Going to the next one. So Thorn had some area of effect damage reductions that came with the last few patches when we were trying to normalize all area damage done to minions. We wanted to make sure that she retained some of that utility So we increased the damage of Hex Sanguination, which is the curse, so that the curse now lasts a little bit longer and it deals a little bit more damage. So now her bow curse play is a little bit stronger. Her burst propulsion, which is an augment that not many people picked because we have the data, which is basically
we know what you did.
We know what
the
you
melee
didn't do.
The melee aug. We've now made it so that if you pick this augment, your melee attack will now do a burst attack that deals more damage once every 2 seconds. So you can't spam it and knock someone back and do more damage, but you every once in a while you'll melee attack for those pesky assassins that get near you. You can hit them for a big burst back. And we also increased the shield penetration of phasing arrows so that if you hit targets with shields, you actually can feel the oomph from penetrating their shields. And then finally, we replaced Blight Brawler, which is a mutation for the Corrupted Ground, with the Wait is Over. And this kind of adds some of the damage back into the Corrupted Ground, but only for the very last tick. When the Corrupted Ground disappears, it will deal an immense amount of damage to targets still kept in there. So it's a little bit of the redirection of damage and toward the end of it, so that players have to skillfully use it, not just drop it on the ground and have minions walk over it and deal the original max damage. Focus Volley, we felt like we already had an AUG that increased the amount of arrows that Volley shot, and Focus Volley kind of just reduced that width a little bit, the cone width. So we changed it with Splinter, so now anytime a Volley arrow, any of the arrows, hit a target, it will spawn another arrow that would hit a nearby target for a little bit of damage. So this kind of adds into the area effect control of Thorn without dramatically increasing the damage, and it requires you to hit a target. So again, just some quality of life changes to Thorn. So Caldarius had some movement capabilities adjusted the last patch. We really want to keep the fantasy of Caldarius being a high, fast-moving mech that can really go in close range damage and get out as soon as possible. So what we did here is we adjusted some of the augments. Basically, we increased his close range attacks, and if you dash at a target, you can now potentially slow the target if you hit him with a dash at level 1. We increased the melee attack speed if you dash at a target, and we also increased the gun attacks, the gun firing rate after you use a dash, and that's what these kind of first 3 AUGs kind of hint at. Basically, if you dash into a target or hit a target with dash, you will be attacking an increased attack rate or attack speed, and therefore allowing you to kill players faster so you can get out. Flash Barrel now spawns 6 child grenades. So this was kind of like just a mini fix to the skill that wasn't used very much because the Merv behaved in an odd way. Now he's kind of spawning in the air so that it's guaranteed damage in the area. In addition, this is what we're talking about. So
the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
So Gravitic Burst increases the fire rate and plus 10 attack speed for 5 seconds. This is after you use a dash. Your weapon shoots fire faster. Ground Zero is this huge change to the ultimate mutation, where that now when you land with your ultimate, you now do the crowd controlled knockback. So if you land, you knock players or enemies back into walls, they all get stunned. So this is a big buff to the mutation, but it's packed next to all the big augments on the ultimate. So that's a big change. We'll keep an eye on it, make sure it's not too overpowering. But when we removed some of the movement capabilities last patch, we wanted to give some of the power back and the skill usages of Caldarius. Kid Ultra.
It's your boy.
So Kid Ultra has gotten some hot fixes throughout the last few weeks, but we also wanted to make sure we lock them into the character and we adjust some of the power in general, the stuff that we couldn't fix in the weekly updates. But this one we've basically had the Aura of Justice affect himself and not just his allies. So this is an actual self buff. And also we changed the Bola Snare so that it's less powerful and only stuns a single target. And this is huge because we didn't intend for the Bola Snare plus the spread to stun multiple targets for long periods of time. And we're also keeping a watch on the bleed damage. I want to make sure that we're not ignoring the bleed damage. We're keeping watch on it. That hasn't been changed yet, but with the reductions to the Bola Snare stun, the way it pierces targets, and the way it bounces in the past few weeks, we wanted to take it step by step. And so this is one of those big changes. So no longer chain stun or stun multiple players for longer than intended time.
There are cheers and confetti going up in the chat.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we had to wait to a big patch. But we've listened. We've got your back.
Kid Ultra, the most effective support assassin in Battleborn.
Yes. Yes.
There you go.
We're really good at those. So Marquis just had a mini change.
I've been pleased.
Yeah, Marquis had a mini change. This is more of just a general fix. The eyes everywhere basically revealed stealth players all over the map, and that was kind of a problem. So we just kind of reduced the radius. So that now the Pendles and the other stealthers can relax a little bit around Marquis.
It's still good. It's still a good. I mean, this is still an anti-stealth ability.
Yeah.
But now it doesn't act like it's just a permanent reveal of all stealth players.
Yeah. Also, some quality of life changes. Miko's ultimate, the Fungus Among Us, we increased the health. We thought that the stationary target, it can't do anything except take damage and heal your allies. We increased this health by 50% to try to increase the utility of it. Reyna's shield booster, we wanted it to be easier to target some of your allies, so we made some adjustments there. You can now cast it at players at further range, and some targeting mechanics there to make it so that it's a little bit more based off of your intent. And Toby's really strong. The double stun we're still looking at, but we really wanted to just adjust the force field to make it so that he's more vulnerable at times. So we think his vulnerability increase will help offset some of his damage output.
I'm pretty sure the double stun, I'd have to check again the patch notes, but I'm pretty sure we have an update to double stun in the massive legendary refactoring.
Yeah, I think so too.
Cool.
I think that's it for...
Or double hug, not
yeah,
double stun.
Yeah.
Double hug.
And I think that's it for characters we have for the presentation, because we have a lot more to cover, but the full patch notes will be revealed sometime in the near future, and make sure to check those out for all the changes.
Yeah.
So don't worry, we are looking at El Dragon. He will receive some attention in the near future.
I also remember, for those of you who have asked a lot about El Dragon, one of the big things that we did when we did the big update that he took it pretty heavily in the face, was we wanted to be sure that all of the melee characters had similar viability. We were seeing El Dragon be a really strong outlier compared to Wrath and Phoebe and others who had historically been very strong on their own, and wanted to be sure that El Dragon wasn't the obvious choice. We never want an obvious choice on characters. We don't mind if some characters, I mean, it happens. You have some characters that are god tier and some that are not every time we do updates, and that changes as you guys play. But we wanted to be sure that leveled out. Looking at the data over the last couple of weeks, we're seeing that leveling out happen a lot better. So we're in a place that we're a lot more comfortable with looking at El Dragon and figuring out what we need to do to bring back what makes him special.